My name is Danielle Siemens, and this is the object I've been working with over the past 8, maybe 10 months now. It's Huang's painting of Huang, a portrait from 1755. So I guess what excuse me, first drew me to this object, on the first day when the whole class met together, all the co-curators, we were discussing this idea of the culture of the copy. Talking about fakes, reproductions, appropriation, where we encounter these kinds of things, how we encounter them, what the general perception of copying is. And what was interesting to me is how would the portrait play into all of this? Because the portrait would seem to be a singular, unique, kind of personal gesture. So how does that play into this notion of the culture of the copy? So that's kind of what brought me to this object. What's most interesting about this, I think, is how the figure and the image play with the words on the surface of the painting. So when you're first looking at the painting, I mean, you can barely see the figure, right? He's right here, and he's almost ghostly. He's in a very thin brush stroke. He's standing in a forest in front of what the inscription reads, his desolate thatched hut. So he's embodying this character type of the hermit. Whether or not he's really a hermit is kind of up for question. So what was interesting to me is, so what is he arguing about himself through this painting, and how is it represented? So this kind of portrait is called a pleasure portrait. It was mostly popular in the 18th and early 19th century in China. So in this case, Huang would commission a professional painter to paint his portrait, and then he would take it around to friends, family, acquaintances, and have them inscribe. So all these calligraphic sections on the painting are by a different person. Huang has done one himself, and the artist has done one also. So Huang is arguing that he's this hermit, he's escaped from the capital city, he's declining guests, yet the inscriptions attest to his social engagements. Obviously he was in the presence of other people, whether or not they were visiting him or he was traveling around. And then, so that brought me to think, well, is this really who he is? Who is this figure he's embodying? And then as I started to research the painting, we also started to look at portrait manuals, or painting manuals. Painting manuals would teach professional painters how to paint, from the most specific things as eyes, nose, hair, to full figures in settings and different contexts. So that kind of complicates our reading of the painting. Is it really him? Is this what he looks like? Or is it kind of just an appropriation of pieces of different figures? Or is he kind of masquerading as a character, as a hermit? So I started to think about the painting as perhaps a masqueraded gesture. So is Huang kind of putting on this role just as a kind of play, perhaps? Can you read it is it just a disguise? Is it just embodying a type? Or does it play into a greater kind of social situation where the kind of elite classes eroding, and he's trying to escape from this kind of corrupt nature of the scholar class and the civil service examination system and all that kind of stuff. And it was complicated for me because I don't want to think of it as just like putting on a costume. And I don't think it is. I think everyone will come to the painting with a different interpretation, but I think there is something by embodying this type, whether or not he's really escaped, whether or not he's really a hermit. There's something kind of true about what he's doing and authentic about the gesture he's trying to make. And it continues to be complicated. Every time I look at the painting, it's kind of different. But I think there is I think he's searching for something about himself, and I think he is finding it.